And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. We're here for a little weekend preview. And over the last 2 days, really nothing crazy has happened in the sport of college basketball. We had Chris Holtmann being fired from Ohio State, which I guess is kind of big news, but not too surprising. They're going to have a coaching hunt over the offseason. I would look for a guy like Dusty May or Sean Miller. I don't know who they're really going to go after. Um, Maybe they try to snag Nate Oates. I doubt he leaves. So we'll see there. And then over the last 2 days, no really crazy results. We had Auburn beating South Carolina by 40 at home, the biggest beatdown of two teams inside the top 25 since the 2016 Final Four when Villanova beat Oklahoma by like 46 or whatever. That moved Auburn into the top 10, number 10. I moved South Carolina down 3 to 14. Um, no one has won in Neville this year. And I don't think this will change this weekend. Auburn has a big game. South Carolina, it's a tough look, so maybe they are fraudulent. I'm gonna keep South Carolina at 14 for now. Um, but it's hard only moving a team down 3 when you lose by 40. But Auburn's back into my top 10 for the second time this year. And they got another good game this week that if they can win, they're going to probably be moving up. Tomorrow, the top 16 teams, according to the committee, gets announced. So that would be the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds in the country. They're gonna get announced. And I thought, why not give you my ones and two seeds, and well, 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds as of now. This is not based on my just top 16 teams in my rankings because that's not based on resume. My rankings are based on who I think are the best teams in college basketball. And shut the fuck up. And my dogs are barking real quick. One sec. All right, so let's get into these top 16 teams. My one seeds, I'm going to have UConn. Well, I think Purdue will be the number 1 overall seed. They're not my number 1 ranked team, but I think they're going to be the number 1. They had the best resume. I just believe UConn's a better team. Purdue did get a good run from Minnesota last night at home, but they ended up pulling off the win. I'm gonna have Purdue as number 1 overall seed, UConn the 2, Houston the 3. I think that's gonna be pretty easy prediction there. Would be surprised if it wasn't those three. The fourth is interesting. I'm gonna have Marquette in as my fourth one. I believe it's gonna be Marquette or Arizona based on resume. But Arizona has worse losses than Marquette. They do have some really good wins, but I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Golden Eagles. And give them the fourth 1 seed. But I think they're gonna give it to Arizona. But I'm gonna go personally, I'm gonna give Marquette that 1 seed. So UConn or Purdue, UConn, Houston, Marquette, my 1 seeds. That is my top 4 in the top 25. And as you see the title, Marquette and UConn highlight the great weekend we have in college basketball. That game is going to be absolute cinema. All right, my 2 seeds is where it gets really hard. Arizona is a 2 seed for me. Tennessee going into that 2 seed. I'm gonna have Iowa State as a 2 seed, and then this is tough between Auburn with really good computer numbers, Kansas, UNC. I'm gonna give it to UNC. I would not be surprised if it ends up being Auburn or Kansas, but I'm gonna give it to UNC. My 3 seeds would obviously be Auburn and Kansas as 2 of my 3 seeds. I would give it to Baylor as a 3 seed. I think they like the Big 12. The committee loves the Big 12. I'm going to give it to Baylor as a 3 seed. And I'm between Duke and Illinois for that third 3 seed. I think I'm gonna give the nod to Duke on this one. Um, I think the reason might be tough, not to give to Duke. Duke has some really good wins this year. They do have a loss to Georgia Tech on the resume, a home loss to Pitt. They've lost to Arizona this year, which isn't a bad loss, but they do have a win over Baylor on a neutral, so it's hard to give Baylor a 3 seed and not give Duke. So I believe the 3 seeds are going to be Auburn, Kansas, Baylor, and Duke as the 3 seeds. And my 4 seeds, that would leave it up to Illinois, I believe, will be a 4 seed. But then this gets tough. I think Alabama will slide in and be a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament this year. And the other two are really tough for who would be the 4 seeds, man. I think you can look at South Carolina, but they don't have the computer numbers. I think they won't be. St. Mary's, I don't see them being that high right now. Dayton has some tough losses. Um, but I would still give, I think Dayton's gonna be lower though. I think Wisconsin may slide into that 4 seed range. They have taken a lot of losses, but I think they will give it to Wisconsin. So Illinois, Alabama, Wisconsin, and then I could see it being BYU. Um, Utah State, I think, is more of a 6 seed. I'll say Dayton. Dayton would be a 4 seed for me. So my 4 seeds right now would be Illinois, Alabama, Wisconsin, and Dayton. I'm gonna go look at what like Jerry Palm has right now, and I'll compare it and we'll see what our difference is. So no one, I'm looking at, no one really has Dayton as a 4. Most have Dayton as a, what do they have? Dayton as a 5. They have Duke as a 4. A lot of people have Bama as a 3. I'm gonna slide Bama into a 4. Just too much losses for me, but the computer numbers are there and they're playing better. Yeah, and I think that's not bad. Some people have South Carolina as a 4, some have Creighton as the 4, but most of them are just similar. We'll see what the committee does. Clemson's now going up into a 5 seed. So yeah, it's the first look at what the committee really thinks is going to happen. So it's going to be interesting. I believe the top 3 will be pretty easily, and I believe they're going to go Arizona. In my personal opinion, I would go Marquette as that 4th one. But we'll go see tomorrow. That's going to be good. That's at 12:30 on CBS. The first look what the committee's thinking. And then I believe we'll get another, of course, a poll update, a bracket update from some of the experts after those 4 get released. And yeah, so now let's go into this weekend because we got a lot of really good games coming out to this weekend, and highlighted, of course, by a top 4 matchup in the country, UConn and Marquette leading, like being the headline game. But let's get into some of these games. We go in chronological order. Tonight is a good one. New Mexico, San Diego State. Big one there between 2 NCAA tournament teams. I think right now, I think New Mexico's right now sliding like a 10 seed range. I love New Mexico's outlook to the tournament because they're led by guards experience. They have experienced guards, good scorers, but San Diego State, of course, has the pedigree, and Jalen Leddy's back playing really good basketball. That's going to be a tough one to go in and win, in San Diego State there in that arena. That's going to be a really, in that environment, tough place to go in. So I believe San Diego State's going to get the win. And if San Diego State gets the win, winner of this game will be ranked by the next time you're watching one of these episodes because there's going to be some lower ranked teams definitely going to take some L's this weekend, probably like a Kentucky, who I have ranked right now. But let's get into it. TCU at Kansas State. TCU, I think TCU will be a tournament team, but they can't lose too many more games here. They have to go on the road in Manhattan, Kansas. That's going to be a tough one. Kansas State, probably not a tournament team this year, but that's going to be an interesting one there on ESPNU. Should be close. I think Kansas State will win at home. TCU really would be huge to get another win here this week. I believe this would be no, they lost earlier this week, so they need a win. They do need a win. Bama is hosting A&M. A&M, I think tournament chances really got shut down with that loss against Vanderbilt. Now they got to go on the road in Tuscaloosa to take on Bama. Don't like the outlook for them on that game. Give me Bama. They're 10.5-point favorites. I think it might be a little closer. But let's see what Alabama. If Alabama's in that top, if they get a 3 seed, they got really like their chances of getting a 2 seed. Winner of the SEC will get a 2 seed. And I believe Bama, they're right now sitting at the top of the conference. They had a shaky non-con, but they've been playing really good basketball of recent, and this should be another win over. I don't know if this is going to be quad 1, but it might be quad 1. It'll be close, if not a solid quad 2 victory. Texas Tech at Iowa State. This is another 2 teams that will be in the NCAA tournament playing against each other, but they have to go into Hilton. And guess what? No one wins at Hilton. Iowa State will win 7.5-point favorites in this one. Pop Isaac Stone's been such a good player for Texas Tech this year. Of course, Texas Tech come off a little bit of a longer break. They got a nice win against Kansas on Monday, so now they got a 5-day break to prepare for this. But it's hard to prepare for Hilton Coliseum, one of the toughest places to play. Iowa State, one of the best teams in the country. I could see them being a 2 seed. I think what did I have them as I had no, I had Iowa State as a 2. I think I had Iowa State as a 2. I guess this game won't matter towards what the committee thinks. So we could see Iowa State being as a 2 seed right now, which is TJ Ossenberger's done a great job. Wake is playing Virginia. Virginia, um, coming off a loss at home to Pitt. They had the longest home win streak in the country. That got snapped this week against Pitt. I believe they'll bounce back and get a win over a bubble team like Wake Forest. But Wake Forest has been on the bubble the last 3 years now. I want Steve Forbes to go for the hump, but this would really help. This would really help. This would not help Virginia if they lose this game. They'll be right back on that bubble. Right now, I still think they're in the NCAA tournament, but this is a big one there at 12 o'clock as well. So a really good 12 o'clock games. Creighton's at Butler. We'll see if Creighton gets in that top 16. They're not, in my opinion. Now they got to go on the road at Butler. Butler, lost to Marquette earlier this week, and now they got to go play Creighton. They need a win here to stay in the NCAA tournament. As of now, this is a tough game to go win, but if you're a legit tournament team, you can't go 0-2 with 2 home games in 1 week. No matter who the competition you play, you have to take advantage of that. I like Butler, but Creighton's such a dangerous team. Trey Alexander, Baylor Scheinman, they can shoot the ball, they can distribute, they can really do everything. And then, of course, they have Ryan Kalkbrenner. So I think Creighton's going to win this game. But if you're Butler, prove me wrong and get a home win. You need it after losing one earlier this week. A good one at 1 is Texas at Houston. This is a Big 12 game. Texas is just a better team on the road here, but they're going into the Fertitta Center and playing Houston. I don't like your chances of that. Jamal Shed has been such a beast this year. But so LJ Cryer is such a good scorer. Juwan Roberts, the big, sharp, good shooter. Houston's just a gritty team. They're not going to make life easy on you. I don't believe that, you're going to see a big game from Max Ace, and they're still going to try to take him out. So I believe Houston should definitely get the win there. Not too challenging of a game. BYU's on the road at Okie State. I don't believe Okie State will win that game, but watch out on the road. Never easy to win on the road. Same with Duke on the road at Florida State. Florida State's kind of come back to earth these last couple weeks. But on the road, Duke could slip up. I wouldn't recommend that if you're John Shire because you have a chance to win the ACC regular season. You got to win those games and hopefully get a date with Carolina for the championship. Wisconsin's at Iowa. Iowa, probably not a tournament team this year, but this is a tough game. Wisconsin got to win to snap their losing streak earlier this week, but now they got to do it against Iowa on the road. Not an easy place to go in at Carver. AJ Store's got to be better. He's been up and down this year. Well, he's been good most of the year, but he's been a little inconsistent recently. He had a good game earlier this week in their win. They're going to need him to be big again against Iowa. I believe he will, and I think Wisconsin will cover the spread at 1.5. But if Iowa wins, okay, we might be a little bit worried about Wisconsin. I think we'll see Wisconsin as a 4 seed. I don't think they're a top 16 team in the country, but resume-wise, they probably are. Marquette at UConn, though, is the game that we're all waiting for. It's a big matchup between two of the best teams in the country, a Big East showdown. The team that won the Big East last year going against the team that won the national championship last year. That's going to be a real entertaining game. I think obviously the stars of the game are the 2 point guards. You have Tyler Kulik, and you're going to have Tristan Newton on the other side. These two are the best players in the Big East. They're going to be up for Big East Player of the Year, both these players. Of course, Tyler Kulik won it last year, and he's been on an absolute tear recent. Again, I talked to you before after that Butler game because that Butler game was on Tuesday, but man, was Tyler Kulik nice that game. He's put up 20 points, I think, his last 3 or 4 games, over 10 assists. He's top 3 in the nation in assists. He really controls the game at his own pace. And then you have other guys filling up the stat streak. Iguodaro, Cam Jones, who's been streaky this year. David Joplin. They don't have as much depth as a team like UConn. But they definitely have the star power to match up with them. But UConn, on the other hand, is just such a deep and well balanced team. I believe they're the best in the country. You've had the emergence of Stephon Castle, the freshman, the 5-star guy. He's been a huge addition to this team since he's got healthy. Cam Spencer, the transfer, obviously. I think he might be their leading scorer. He's been so good this year. Is maybe the best shooter in college basketball. And then of course Tristan Newton's the head of the snake. He's had triple doubles in his career. He's developed the jump shot. When he's hitting that jump shot, UConn's damn near unbeatable. The longest win streak in the country they have. Klingon's getting back to being fully healthy. And then Alex Karaban's one of the best glue guys in all of college basketball. You can't pick against UConn this game at home in the XL Center. If Marquette can go in and win this game, you'll be ranked second in the country come the weekend. I just don't see you snapping UConn. UConn's on a tear. They're the best team in the country. Prove me right. They're going to be slotted as a 1 seed on earlier in the day. This is a 3 p.m. Fox game. No matter what you're doing, turn on your screen and go to Fox and watch this game. I'm sure Gus Johnson will be on the call. You should get your 18. Maybe Raftery will be on this game. Now, I wonder if Raf will be on this game. I hope Raf's on this game. If not, I don't know. I hope if Gus or Raph, one of them both, maybe both of them. I don't know what the pairing will be, but this is going to be a ball game. You got to watch Marquette, UConn. It's going to be one of the best games in all the regular season. Two top four teams playing against each other. It's not a rivalry game. It's a damn good game. I expect it to deliver. Marquette has played really good teams this season. They took Purdue to the end in Maui, and UConn's gone on the road and almost beat Kansas. So these teams have played some really good competition here and lived up to the hype. And this game will deliver. And if it not, then that's disappointing. I don't see this being a blowout. Hopefully we can come back on Monday or whenever I make this Sunday and talk about wow, that was a good basketball game, no matter what team won. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm just so excited for that game because that game's just gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be a freaking good game. Cincinnati's at UCF. Cincinnati, I think, is gonna be a team that I already said this earlier this week that won't make the NCAA tournament. But you gotta win these games. UCF is a dangerous team at home, though. They've beat they beat Kansas. They beat Kansas. They beat Texas at home. So they've won some games at home that they shouldn't have. And Cincinnati's not a great team, but we'll see. You got to win those games, Cincinnati. Kansas is at Oklahoma. This could be a tricky one for the Jayhawks. We've seen how much they've struggled at home. They've lost their last 3 games on the road, and now they got to go at an up and down Sooners team. Again, Oklahoma was ranked, I believe, in the top 10 earlier this year. They've came down to earth in Big 12 play. Not surprised. This team doesn't have a star that you would recognize. I mean, Muzan's been good. Oweh's been good. Moore's been a good player for Oklahoma. They just don't have the household star power type guys. Porter Mosier's done a great job. This Oklahoma team will most likely be dancing in the NCAA tournament just because of their non-con. And now they got to go. And this is a big game for the Sooners here. You're coming off a loss earlier this week, but now you get a home chance against Kansas. We do not know the availability of Kevin McCullough. That could be the difference in this one. McCullough plays. I think Kansas is so much of a better team. We've seen his importance in these last couple games, barely being Baylor at home, then going destroyed at Texas Tech. This is a tough spot for Kansas. No McCullough. I think Oklahoma wins. Kansas is outside my top 10 for the first time all season. I dropped them to 11 because Auburn moved ahead of them. It's the lowest Kansas has been all year. Another loss here, then we moving down. You got to not lose 2 in a row for the Jayhawks here. Really put you far back in the Big 12 regular season race here. No McCullough. I believe the Sooners win. If McCullough plays, I think Kansas will. Bill Self is such a good coach. He's got to get these players playing right at home. And McCullough's there, I believe, or on the road. I'm sorry. If McCullough's there, I believe they get the win though there. But again, that's not. We don't know if he will be on the court on that one. That's gonna be a big injury news at tip off there. Illinois on the road at Maryland. Maryland's not that great of a team. Illinois, I believe, is. Terrence Shannon's been playing so much better. These last couple games had 30 earlier this week against Michigan. Let's see if Illinois can get a road win there. They're going to need T. Shan to be nice. A Big Mountain West game. We have one tonight. We have one tomorrow. Utah State, Colorado State there. I believe these are 2 NCAA tournament teams. I have Utah State ranked. They win this game, they'll be in the AP poll, I believe. Come Monday, they're going to stay in my poll. Colorado State, just been up and down this year. It's been a weird year for the Rams. They started off the year so hot. They had a lot of big time wins. They've come back to down the Mountain West play. Their game's back now at the top of the standings. I believe it's Utah State still at the top of the standings. Utah State, took a loss. I believe last week, but I think they're back on a 2-game win streak here. Great Osborne's been such just a good player for them. Um, let's see. Yeah, they're on a 2-game win streak with Boise and at they went 0-2 2 weeks ago. They're back on a 2-game win streak here. The Rams, I think the Rams are a good team. Isaiah Stevens has got to start playing better basketball. He was such a good player earlier this year. They just lost to San Diego State on Tuesday. Not really a close one. Now you gotta go and take on a really tough Utah State team at home, but you got to capitalize at home, especially in the Mountain West here, where that's usually who's going to determine who wins this conference is who can just hold course at home and then steal road wins against the worst teams and not lose them. This is going to be a really good game. I think Colorado State should win at home. I don't know. I believe Utah State's a really good team. I just don't know if I'm going to pick them, what they're going to do March. It's all matchup dependent, though, for pretty much all these teams that aren't the elite of the elite. We got a good one on ESPN 6. Kentucky's at Auburn. Auburn's 10-point favorites in this one, and maybe, dude, they might cover. They might cover. They just beat South Carolina by 40 at home. John A. Broome, Jalen Williams, Trey Donaldson. This team is really dangerous. And in Neville Arena, it's where you see them at their best. I like Kentucky. I really do. But just youth going into that environment, I don't like that for Kentucky. Maybe they can somehow pull off a miracle here and win this game. I don't see it. Game day is going to be here, so it's going to be one of the best environments all year. And Neville brings it night in, night out. Those players feed off the energy. They like to get the crowd into it. And John A. Broome will be a problem for the Kentucky Bigs. They're going to need Onyesa to have another big game like he did earlier this week. I just don't see that happening, and I believe the Tigers get the job done at home, and they might cover that 10-point spread. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't bet against it. I wouldn't say go for it. Like, that's a tough line. 10's a lot. Like Auburn at home, man, it's like a 10-point advantage just normally against any team. Yale Princeton's a very good Ivy League showdown. Just had to point that out. Didn't even know they were playing, but that's a very good Ivy League showdown there between two of the best in the Ivy. The Ivy's a tough league. That conference tournament's going to be huge. And then anything else on Saturday? Yeah, late night, Mountain West doesn't really deliver. Nevada's on the run against UNLV could be interesting. But yeah, that's about it for Saturday. I'm not sure about Sunday. Let's go look at Sunday. I think Sundays are going to start getting better now that NFL's over. Yeah, big one in the American. Uh, we had the best team in the American, or the number one team in the standings, USF. They're hosting the best team in my eyes in the American, FAU. Man, this is just a big one. USF. I was kind of looking at their resume earlier today because I was like, okay, I saw this game on Sunday, and I was thinking, is USF like have a chance at large? I mean, they have some bad losses. They have to have multiple quad 3, maybe quad 4 losses because they have like I gotta tell you, who was their home? They had some 2 bad losses early in the year. They're 11-1 in conference play and playing amazing, but they lost a home game to Central Michigan and Maine. Yeah, that's bad. But what they've done recently, what is it? Amir Abdul-Rahim is their coach, I believe. He's done an amazing job at South Florida. Watch for him to get a promotion soon. The Bulls are in a huge spot here. Win this game, maybe at large can come into your mind here. You would have a big lead in the conference standings. FAU on the road. This is gonna be, man, this is a really good game at 12 o'clock. I expect it to be close. Um, I don't know which way I'm leaning here. I like the Bulls actually get this done at home. FAU, just been a little too inconsistent for me. Dusty May is gonna be, starting getting other job rumors with the Ohio State firing. That could be interesting. Purdue plays at Ohio State. I don't know. Ohio State, maybe they get inspired with a coach firing. I doubt it. Purdue should definitely win that game. Um, Rutgers, Minnesota, nothing. St. John, Seton Hall. Eh. So yeah, man, that's really it from the week. Man, UConn Marquette's obviously the star, but we got a lot of good games. And yeah, that top 16. I hope you liked my top 16. Give me your top 16. Maybe I'll do a little reaction. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have no school next week, so I can put out earlier videos and stuff like that. So I think it's gonna be a Monday morning episode for me. So get ready for that, for the weekend recap and everything, all my thoughts on what's gonna happen. And hopefully we get a good weekend of ball, have fun, and peace.